Welcome back. As we talked a little bit earlier in the show, we talked about the father who protested his school because they weren't doing enough to stop the bullying in the hallways.
And the big question that parents in Idaho are asking are, what are Idaho schools doing to make sure that kids are not being bullied? So joining us today is Superintendent of Schools, Tom Luna. We want to thank you so much for coming in today.
Glad to.
So let's talk a little bit about the problem of bullying. Let's just start with bullying. That's something that we saw when we were kids. Yeah. It's something that has continued on. What is the state of Idaho doing as far as initiatives, as far as programs to help stop the bullying in the school?
Well, this month we're focusing on cyberbullying. You're right. When we went to school, the bullying has unfortunately,
no Facebook.
But when we went to school, bullying happened, unfortunately. But it was definitely face to face, and you knew when it was happening. Today,
it's easier to react.
It's easier to respond to, but today, because of technology and stuff, then cyberbullying is a real issue. 23% of our students have reported that they've been the victims of bullying, and 17% have said it's a form of cyberbullying. So there are things we can do, and one thing we're doing this month is just focusing on it and driving conversations at all levels. The most important thing we can do is, as parents and as adults, we can model good behavior, and how we handle situations of conflict or disagreement, and how we deal with it through cyber, whether it's through Facebook or Twittering and stuff. Kids are going to model what they see adults do. So that's one thing that's important, and we're talking a lot about.
There is a lack of civility, it seems like, within our society. Parents, children, everybody. We're just not being as kind to each other.
Yeah, and so I think that's one thing we can do. The other thing is in the school. It's very important that when students are victims of this, that somebody speak up. And too many times we find out after the fact when we haven't had an opportunity. Kids are always afraid of being the tattletale, right? We have to move beyond that, and when students see bullying, they have to report it. And then schools are developing culture. With student leaders, you can see schools that are developing culture where bullying is just not tolerated. And when you have students start leading that kind of an atmosphere, it's very, very successful and has very, very positive results.
So when we're talking about cyberbullying, usually that's not happening in school hours. It's happening outside school hours. So if things like that are happening and it's not necessarily in school, you can still go to your teachers about this?
You bet. What's important is for students to save the text or to save the post, so that there's evidence, so that then something can be done about it, and it can be dealt with when it initially happens. It's important that when students are at home, when you have computers and devices, there should be a period of the time of the day where parents say, it's no technology time. We're sitting around the dinner table, all the technology is gone.
Stop texting your friends.
If you have a computer, make sure that it's in a place where everybody can see, the screen is out towards folks, so that there's a level of accountability for what's happening. It's just those kinds of things and those ideas of awareness that will help us identify and begin to reduce the bullying. It just has to be zero tolerance when it comes to bullying.
And you mentioned that positive peer pressure instead of the negative peer pressure for a community, a school community, to say this is not accepted here.
Until students are completely free of fear, intimidation, and fear of violence and bullying, they'll never be completely free to learn. So our schools have to be bully-free, intimidation-free, fear-free zones. And that's what we work towards. In October is the month that we focus on driving some conversations at all levels about how we can reduce it and eliminate it.
Great. Tom Luna, thanks so much for tackling this tough issue across the state.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you.